Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today we are listening to Agatha Chelsea and Alvin Joe sing their cover of Glimpse of Us. I have not heard either of these singers before. The first time I heard Chakra Khan was on Roommate Project, so I try to go back to their channel and see what's new, and this duet caught my eye, so here we go.
He'd take the world off my shoulders if it was ever hard to move. He turned the rain to a rainbow when I was living in the blue. Why then, if he's so perfect, do I still wish that it was you? Perfect don't mean that it's working, so what can I do when you're out of sight in my mind? 'Cause sometimes I look in his eyes, and that's where I find a glimpse of us. And I try to fall for his touch, but I'm thinking of the way it was. Said I'm fine, said I moved on. I'm only here passing time in his arms, hoping I'll find a glimpse of us.
Oh, that's so beautiful. She has a very youthful sound. It's so stunning. I really love the way she's approaching her head voice. She's keeping it very light, but still very focused, so that it's like this laser sound. Right now, she's not doing a lot in her mix. She's going from chest voice, which is very relaxed. It's not breathy, but it has that sort of warm quality to it, so it just feels very effortless. She's going from that chest sound into her head voice and not a lot in between, which how could she considering the notes of the song? So I'm curious to hear how this develops, but I am going to point that out just so you can hear that that definition between the two registers.
Said I'm fine, said I moved on. I'm only here passing time in his arms, hoping I'll find
Right there.
a glimpse of us.
Tell me, save us your glory. Does it left the way I did? Is this a part of your story? One that I had never leave. Maybe one day you feel lonely, and in his eyes you get a glimpse. Maybe you start sleeping slowly and find me again when you are offside in my mind.
I'm gonna back this up. I want to try and point something out, but his voice, wow, these two together, I feel like they match so well. They almost have sort of that, it's got a slight, the tiniest, the very slightest musical theater sound. Her more in the sort of youthful princess role, and he's got that it's got the power and the full adduction that you want in that genre, but it's also kind of that in terms of character. The prince, she could be the princess, he could be the prince. It's got that sort of young romantic lead sound, but he's got this glorious R&B quality, so it's very smooth and smoky, and yeah, let me see if I can point this out.
Maybe one day you feel feel lonely, and in his eyes you get a glimpse. Maybe you start sleeping slowly and find me again. When you
Ooh, that was it. So I talk about breath a lot. What I love that I just heard, because I'm always telling singers, like, take as much time as you need to breathe, so that you don't have like this really short breath before your phrase. And you can hear him slowly inhaling and then took in just a tiny bit more right before he sang, because he's anticipating how long this phrase is.
maybe you start sleeping slowly and find me again. When
Do you hear that? You can hear, obviously, I don't know if he's having to release any air, but you can hear that inhale and then just a little extra, which is very smart planning.
When you are upside in my mind.
I love that transition because it's just so warm and so smooth, and it's just like velvet.
In my mind. 'Cause sometimes I look on her eyes, and that's where I find a glimpse of us. And I try to fall for her touch, but I'm thinking of the way it was. Instead I'm fine, instead I move on. I'm only here passing times in her arms, hoping I find a glimpse of her.
Oh, each day goes by and each night I cry. Somebody saw you with her last night. You gave me your word, don't worry about her. You might love her now, but you loved me first. Said you never hurt me, but here we are. Oh, you swore on every star. How could you be so reckless with my heart?
She just sounds so innocent. I think that's what it is. When she said hurt, I think that was the word. You can hear her start to transition into mix.
But here we are. Oh, you swore on every star. How could you be
Sorry, I gotta go back further.
so don't worry about her. You might love her now, but you loved me first. Said you never hurt me, but here we are. Oh, you swore on every star. How could you be so reckless with my heart? I look in his eyes, and that's where I find a glimpse of us.
And I try to fall for her touch, but I'm thinking of the way it was.
Said I'm fine.
Instead I move on.
I'm only here passing time in her arms, hoping I'll find a glimpse of us.
I like how their vibrati, they ended up matching at the end there. Go back again.
Of us.
I also loved watching him at the end here. What a generous duet partner. She was able to like internalize, close her eyes, and he was like on her, just following like everything she was doing so that they paired up. Both of them individually have gorgeous voices and together created such a beautiful sound. I am curious to know if they have collaborated before or if this was the first time. I don't know. You guys you'll have to let me know. The one thing I will mention, the coach in me feels like I have to say this. This particular style of singing, this sort of lighter, airy, breathy sound, I feel like it has become very popular in the last decade or so. And rightfully so. It's gorgeous. Like, who doesn't love this beautiful sound? But it's always important, if you are a singer, to balance this out, even if it's just in your own practice time and not in performance, with like full adduction singing. Because if you get into the habit of not bringing your chords together fully all the time, that's when I start to see singers suffer from fatigue or a loss of range. So if you are someone who likes to sing with that lighter, airy, breathy sound and not have full vocal cord adduction, it's never a bad idea to check in with a medical professional like a speech pathologist, a speech therapist, an ENT, whatever it may be, just so you can have someone checking in and making sure you're doing things in a healthy way. Anywho, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.